Well, hello to everyone and an excellent Tuesday afternoon to everyone. So excited that you all have joined us for Tea Time Tuesday, and welcome to Tea Time to all our Tea Time community. It's a beautiful spring day. I tell you, we're jump starting spring and it's just beautiful here all around the Renewal Center. Just looking outside of the windows, the sky is so clear, and we hope that you are having a great day. Looking just so excited about today. Looking forward to our renewal practices. So, to all of our Tea Time community, go ahead and like and share this broadcast on your social media pages. Let everyone know that Tea Time Tuesday, the Renewal Center's Tea Time Tuesday, is streaming live, and we want to invite everyone also to our YouTube channel. So, if you want to join us on YouTube, we are streaming live as we speak over there at YouTube. And while you're over there, like and share and subscribe. Invite some friends to join us over there as well. So I'm excited about everything today, just being back and just taking the opportunity to get ready for our renewal practices. Hello, Karen. It's good to see you out there. You guys go ahead and grab your tea, grab your journals, and invite your friends for today's Tea Time renewal practices. I'm telling you, we're so excited. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our tea time today. Just an ecstatic day, a great time for the plants blooming and starting to bud. And so we're going to get started with our book of the week. I'm especially excited. I'm especially excited about our book of the week. And I guess you're saying, well, why? Why is she so excited? Well, our book of the week is Just Do What God Says. Just Do What God Says. And it's by Dr. Paul C. Brown, who is my father, actually. And we at the Renewal Center were so excited to feature his book, Just Do What God Says. And I'm going to give you a little information about this book. And then actually you can be able to order this book. So we're going to give you even some more background information. So while I'm reading a little bit about his book, then you can look at how to order his book, which is actually streaming live right there in front of you. The name of the book is Just Do What God Says. And, we have one life to live. And once again, this is authored by Dr. Paul C. Brown Sr., who is my father, and so excited. And also, we're just so glad to be able to present this book today. This is what it says. One needs to make certain that he or she is living their calling for the time God has given. Just do what God says was the life statement of my mother, Dr. Paul Brown's former wife, Vera Louise Brown, who's gone on to be with the Lord now. He wrote this book as a testimony to her life, to her legacy, and a well-lived Christ-centered life. She fought a good fight, she kept the faith, and finished her course. Dr. Brown's hope is that the reader will gain insights for living from his wife, mother, this woman of God. She journeyed among us for a season and did what God told her to do. In the province of God, he took her into his presence. We are left to glean from what she's modeled. So he has certainty, and we have certainty that her life was an example for many to emulate. So the name of this book, again, is Just Do What God Says, and it's from Dr. Paul C. Brown Sr. I'll give you a little background. Hello, Apostle Monique. It's good to see you. Dr. Paul C. Brown Sr. is a graduate of the University of Maryland with a Bachelor's of Science degree. He's an alumnus of the Birmingham Theological Seminary, and he has his degree in Master's in Biblical Study. He receives his Doctor of Ministry from Andersonville Theological Seminary. Dr. Brown is the Executive Director of Spolowa Ministries Incorporated and serves as President of Spolowa Middle Georgia Bible Institute, which is in Jeffersonville, Georgia. He's an advocate for marriage and family, and he's the founder of the Marriage Workshop, which is actually streaming across the screen. He has two other books, Building a Strong Christian Family and Count It All Joy. So Dr. Brown is not only retired from the United States Air Force after 26 years, but he's a past national president of the American Medical Technologists. So I want to bring your attention to how you can order his book. His book is located on his website at www.themarriageworkshoponline.com. www.themarriageworkshoponline.com. We'll also put that in the chat and you can go and find out more information about that. The name of the book, again, is Just Do What God Says. And that is our book of the week here at the Renewal Center. So moving for our book of the week from the Renewal Center, we're going to go to our tea of the week. Now, we've had several different teas that we featured at the Renewal Center that are different colors. We've featured black tea, green tea, white tea, oolong tea. But I found that there is a yellow tea. So this week, we're going to be featuring yellow tea. How many of you guys out there have heard of yellow tea? I'm just actually finding more information about yellow tea. So we have the yellow tea as the tea of the week. And this is a mellow flavored tea. It's made from the Camellia sinensis. We've already heard that Camellia sinensis plant is actually from the black tea. And it's a mellow flavor and it's very rare. This is a very rare type of tea. And there's an actual process that this tea goes through to produce this yellow color. It's a special process. So I encourage you to go look and do your research for that. But it is very mellow. It's a great flavorful tea, and you can steep it and serve it just like any other tea. So our tea of the week is yellow tea at the Renewal Center. So as we are getting ourselves prepared for our renewal practices today, let's take a moment and locate ourselves. Hello to Patrick Brown, Patrick J. Brown, our Executive Director. He's out there watching today. Let's go ahead and take a minute and locate ourselves. So as you're sitting there and you can look at the screen, let's just take a minute to just locate ourselves, produce a place of pause. We're here to pause. We're here to build resilience and take a moment in our afternoon to reset. So we're going to take a second here and just relax. Take in some nice deep breaths and relax your shoulders, your hands, and fingers. Let's take a minute here. Wasn't that beautiful? That was a beautiful scenery that we were looking at. Just taking in the sights. And all we have to do here on a Tuesday afternoon is to stop and pause. It makes all of the difference. And so as we go into our time of bringing in our Director of Digital Renewal and Stewardship, Hope T. Melton, go ahead and let us know what kind of tea are you drinking and what is your beverage of choice. Hi, Hope.
Hi. Hello, Carmela. How are you?
I'm doing good. And I was just really enjoying the locate yourself, the pictures. It was just awesome today, getting us ready for tea time today.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I really enjoyed just hearing the synopsis on the book, and I have my copy, and I encourage everyone to get their copy as well. And enjoyed hearing about the yellow tea. So that's an interesting tea, something that I'm going to look into actually having as being, we're tea drinkers. So again, everyone, welcome to Tea Time Tuesday, where we're pausing, reset, and building resilience. Welcome, everyone. We are glad to be here with all of you and our Tea Time community. For our first time viewers, welcome to our Tea Time community. We welcome you. We hope that you guys have your tea time journal, that you have your tea of choice. Go ahead and share with us what's your tea of choice this afternoon. All right. Pomegranate blue. Okay.
That sounds real healthy.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, Carmela, are you going to stay on with me or you want me to bring you back in?
You can bring me back in. I got my journal ready and I got my tea.
All right. Well, we'll bring you back in and get your feedback. We'll bring you back in. Thank you so much, Carmela. All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time. So excited to be here with all of you this afternoon as we're taking time to pause, reset, and build resilience. I am looking for your engagement this afternoon as we know that we're all a Tea Time community. Looking forward to you engaging this afternoon with us. We have a great topic to talk about today that we can share as a Tea Time community. And so, as you know, with everything going on and with our busy lives, and with the digital world and technology and social media, we're going to talk a few about human connection today. About human connection today. So we're going to be talking about that human connection and talking a little bit about it. So you can chime in into the actual chat. Let me know what do you define as human connection? What does human connection mean to you? All right. What does human connection actually mean? Here, and I have something I'm going to share here. And so, human connection is a sense of closeness and belongingness to a person can experience when having supportive relationships with those around them. And so that's a part of human connection as well. I love for you all guys to share this afternoon. I see Keisha says that she is having coffee. Okay, very good. I see Karen saying that she is drinking a detox tea. All right, thank you so much for sharing, Karen and Keisha. Hello, good afternoon, Daphne. Thank you so much for joining in. And this afternoon, we are talking about human connection. What does human connection mean? So I want you guys to go ahead and chime in and let me know, what does human connection mean to you? How important is it to you to have human connection, especially in a time where we live in a society where it's social media, a lot of technology, and it's just basically, we are made and we're wired to be connected to one another, right? And so we're going to talk about the benefits of human connection, why human connection is important, and how we can better enable or embrace more human connection as we continue on. So these are some of the things we're going to share this afternoon. So I'm looking forward to you guys chiming in this afternoon. And so, human connection could be many things. Like what we're doing right now, we're having tea together, maybe having coffee with a friend, maybe even after a long day, speaking with a family member or interacting with a family member, that's human connection. And that's important for us to continue to have, right? So connecting with someone, sometimes even for me with human connection is sometimes connecting with someone and we may not even be talking. They may be doing something else and I may be doing something else. And so human connection doesn't always have to include words. It's just spending time and closeness and experience, also a bonding experience. So I would love for you guys to chime in on human connection and why human connection is important. What does human connection mean to you? Because we're all wired again to be connected one with another. And so if we face the pandemic, in those times, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we had to be separated, and so we had to adjust. And so in those times, the human connection was kind of lost, and there was an aspect of loneliness. Also, during my reading, I was able to find out that even social media and things like that can cause people to feel lonely as well. And we'll go ahead and I'll speak about that a little later. I see a comment chiming in now. To be intermingled with others in various sectors of society. Thank you so much for sharing that, living in faith every day. Thank you so much for sharing that. You made a good point there. You said it's being intermingled with others in various sectors of society. And this is so important because we are wired to be connected one with another, right? We're wired to be with one another, wired to interact with others. And again, connecting again, it may include, like I said, cup of coffee, or sometimes just being in a space and just having the experience of bonding with one another. So again, thank you so much for sharing that, living in faith, what human connection means to you, or what's your definition of human connection. You guys can go ahead and continue to chime in on your definition of human connection. I see that Carmela says enjoying and fostering synergy. Absolutely, that is great, and that's very, very true. I like that you use the word fostering, because it's very important that we foster that synergy, that we foster that oneness, and that's very good. Thank you so much for sharing that, Carmela. And so we're going to move on. We're going to talk a little bit about why is human connection important? Why is it important? I would love to hear your feedback on why human connection is important. Okay, we already talked about kind of like what it means. What does it mean to you personally? How important it is to you, but why is connection important? Okay, so even like I was saying before, we live busy lives. We're trying to balance different things. We're in meetings, we're in school, activities, or being in school where actually we have our family responsibilities, and everything else that we're doing, and so sometimes in those particular things off the top, we try to squeeze in maybe exercise, we're running errands. It's a various of different things. And so we're going to share today some renewal principles on why human connection is important. Okay, I see some comments chiming in. It builds community. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kimberly. It builds community, and we need community. Just like our tea time is a community, right? Where we're pausing, resetting, and building resilience. All right, Keisha says human connection is a must for me. To me, it's closeness that builds relationships. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Keisha, about the building of relationships. And so that's an important factor here about building relationships in a time where we're trying to balance the meetings and work. I can say for me, meetings and work, some people are school activities, again being things that your responsibilities as well. And so sometimes it leaves us with this place where we don't really have the time to connect like we should be, because we're kind of engulfed with the cares of life, right? And so it makes it, with us not being able to connect, kind of in a world or a society where it's more virtual interactions than physical. Human connection is more, it's important now more than ever. I really believe that, especially in this time. I see some comments chiming in now. Monique says human connection offers opportunities for collaboration and support. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Monique. That's very important. I see Shalissa said, feeling the pulse of the people. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know why? Because it's important to feel the pulse of people to actually know. And the only way we can do that is by connecting, right? And a human connection is very important to me, because we're not made to just be alone. No matter what type of personality that we have, we still have that time to be able, the importance of being able to connect and engage with others, right? And so as we're moving on and we're talking about why is human connection important, why is it important, I'm just going to state a few things that helps understanding why human connection is important, right? And so this afternoon, and you guys can still chime in, it's important because it helps us to learn to love, care, and grow with others. Iron sharpens iron. Thank you so much for living in faith every day, for sharing that comment. Very good. Thank you so much. I see Kimberly is chiming in. Connection requires that you pause and engage with others. That is very true. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kimberly. You know why that's a good point? Because, like I said, sometimes we're in such a busy place, a place where we're constantly on the go. We kind of lose that connection of understanding, taking that pause and being able to connect with those around us and connect with our community and connect with the people we love, because there's so much going on in our lives. And so that's a point, that's a good point that you made there. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you everyone for sharing. So I just want to share some benefits of why human connection is important, and why it, and for why is it important that we embrace or cultivate or build a community where we embrace human connection, right? So again, as Kimberly said, taking the pause, to engage with others. It also can help with our mental health as well. It's really good to be around, like even Carmela said, that synergy that comes with being together and being around one another. It benefits us in numerous ways, in our mental health. It helps to build our mood. I know when I'm talking and engaging and connecting with people, it reduces things and stress. I'm able to release. I'm able to talk. I want you guys to go ahead and put in the comments not why mental health, but why human connection is important. And it helps us to be able to have that intimate connection, to be able to boost our moods and help us to be in a good mental place when we're able to share some great things. All right, so Living in Faith has a comment. Tea time is my unofficial group therapy. All right, thank you so much for sharing that. That's good to know. We are community, and this is human connection here where we're all communicating, we're all together. I see our executive director, Patrick, is chiming in because I need others. That's simple. That's to the point. Nothing deep. That's the bottom line. We need each other. And one of our hashtags says, take care of one another. And taking care of one another is keeping and embracing human connection. Thank you so much for sharing that, Patrick. Thank you for chiming in. And so, even with human connection, and I just want to share a few things about that, why human connection is important. You guys can still chime in if you want to add anything to what's being shared today. Is that it also helps us to basically have a good life. When you have good, healthy relationships, it helps improve our life. It helps improve our mental and physical health and emotional health as well. So that's a good place where we can actually be connected with people and have that good. And also, I was also reading and researching that it actually helps with physical health as well. It helps with different things and stresses and different things such as that, where those things can foster a healthy physical outcome for us as well. So not only does it help with having a healthy mental health state, it also helps with our physical state as well. Because why? Connecting to others, it relieves stress, right? We feel connected. And I realized that even during when the pandemic was actually going on, people were stressed, people felt lonely, people felt isolated. And at that time, I realized how important human connection really is. When you can't connect with people, then sometimes you really realize how important it really is to be connected and be connected to a community, and the feelings that come when you're separated from a community as well. And so we know also that human connection also builds resilience, right? And I see a comment coming in, keeps us generating ideas, learning new viewpoints. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. You are right on track, Carmela, because I was going to share about conversations and engagements and things of that nature. And so, again, the comment that Patrick made about we need each other, that's a fulfillment, right? When we're connected to friends, when we're connected to family, even through a phone call, even through going out to dinner, even through having coffee or tea, we can actually be connected where we're laughing. We can either cry, we can vent to one another. Those are good experiences that have to be shared with another person. We don't want to share those things alone. And so I'm driving the human connection today because sometimes with doing what we're doing in our life and things are busy, sometimes being on social media, sometimes engaging in things, it cuts into the time that we can have to embrace one with another for human connection. All right, I see a comment coming in. Allows me to live well, serve well, love well, and be well. Thank you so much, Charlissa, for making that comment there. That's a really good and powerful comment. Again, it increases fulfillment. right? It increases fulfillment. And so I want to take a look at this picture again, and I want you to look at what you see here with the hands and the actual earth being held. What do you see in that picture? What does it say to you? How is it speaking to you when it in regards to human connection? In regards to human connection, and I want you to take time to even journal about human connection and the things that you shared here. Even if we've had some great feedback, and I want to encourage you to continue to feedback, give us more feedback on what do you see when you see this hand that's holding this globe or holding the earth as a symbolism of the earth. For me, it's just saying the hands and the connecting to people, connecting to human beings. All right. And so I see Patrick is chiming in. What I am willing to notice in my world. That's very good. That's a very good comment, what you got out of that picture. Thank you so much for sharing that, Patrick. Anyone else, you can go ahead and chime in to what that picture really symbolizes to you when it comes to human connection. All right. Hey there, Adrian. She says, hi, everyone. Human connection is the one thing needed in this world. You're absolutely right. It goes right along with Patrick's comment. We need each other. We need community. We need fellowship. We need love. We need fulfillment. Right? So thank you so much for sharing that, Adrian. All right, living in faith. We are all in this together. Thank you so much, Living in Faith Every Day, for sharing that. And we are. All right, Tina says, I see care for humankind around the world. That's very good. Thank you so much for sharing that this afternoon, Tina. All right, Patrick is saying, how did I get so blessed to care for others? Mm. And that is posed question there that Patrick has placed there. How did I get so blessed to care for others? And we realize that caring for others, that is a blessing, right? All right, Monique is chiming in and saying human connection supports the evolution of our world. Thank you so much for sharing that as you guys have gotten this out of this particular photo that we're looking at. Carmela says support. Absolutely. I can see that too, Carmela. Support. Absolutely. All right. Adrian is chiming in and saying human connection leads to empathy. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Adrian. Thank you all for sharing that. And we're going to keep just moving forward. I'm glad that you shared that because now we're really connecting and collaborating. And this is the connection that we have here in Tea Time. We're engaging with one another. We're receiving rich feedback that we can apply a lot of these comments and write them down and apply them as renewal center practices, all right, to keep being in a place of renewal. So we were talking about increased fulfillment, all right. And so, even with human connection, it makes us feel closer to our loved ones, makes us feel closer to our friends, all right, as well. It also builds in emotional support, like a support system for one another. We need support from one another, different things that may go on. We need that connection because in the connection comes the support that we need when we're connected with each other. And so it also, and it's something that Carmela was saying about just, engaging in synergy, it helps us to approach and have conversations and meaningful conversations, right? In a meaningful way, right? So we're also approaching conversations. This is a part of human connections, and it's more in a more meaningful way. Absolutely. I see a comment coming in here. Tanya said, we aspire and heal each other. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tanya. Okay, Patrick's chimed in. You are not alone, even if you feel lonely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's why it's important that we have this human connection as well. It brings improvement to us when we know and understand what human connection is, how we can embrace human connection, and so why it's important to have human connection. And so you guys can continue to chime in, and I'm going to just continue to share here. All right, we're going to just share here. I want to share a actual quote here, and it's a quote by John Donne, British poet and scholar, says no man is an island in, in entire of itself. Every man is a piece of a continent, a part of the main. That stood out to me. So it's just like we're not an island, we're all a part of the continent. We're all a part of the main, but we're all gathered together. Like even when we see that globe, for me, that means togetherness, that means unity, that means oneness, meaning we're all held and we're being in together. So that's a quote that I wanted to share to you by John Donne, British poet and scholar. And again, it says, no man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. And so I wanted to share that with you. What do you think about that quote for you? What does that mean to you as we share this afternoon? We inspire and heal one another. All right. Carmela saying, awesome quote. All right. Thank you so much, Carmela. And so moving right along in our tea time, we've talked about what is human connection? Why is human connection important? Okay, and now we're going to just talk about practices for connection with others. How can we improve our practices and connections for one another? We're going to share some practices I want to share with you on how we can improve our connections with others. And as we're doing this, go ahead and chime in on ways that you know or you think that we can help improve connection with others. All right. So I'm just going to share a few things for connections with one another, just some basic things. And one of the things that I realized, even for myself, is that getting out. Okay. Um, we talked about conversations previously, basically just get out, maybe even, for me, it may be taking a walk with someone or just coming out of my comfort zone, interacting with someone. The benefit of connections, it helps to, basically, even if you have anxiety or things, helps to push those things down. And so we want to be proactive with getting out and actually engaging with one another. And there's not a problem with wanting to belong, wanting to be a part of community. Because again, as I said in the beginning, we are wired for connection. We're made to connect. And so it's important that we connect. I see comment chiming in now. Living in faith every day, this quote made me think of the human body and how all parts are needed in order to function well. That is a very good comment. Thank you so much, Living by Faith every day. Thank you so much for your comment. All right, we have another comment come in. Tina says, be vulnerable and give of yourself. Absolutely. The place of vulnerability, I agree. Absolutely. Coming out of that comfort zone, right? Coming out of that place of comfort zone and just connecting with others. And so that is very good that we push through those comfort zones and get out and make those connections. And it's okay again to want to be a part of community because again, we are made for connection, right? And so connecting one-on-one, this is something that's very important to me, and if you can share and chime in as well. And so for me, and I want to share something as far as keeping human connection is conversation and communication. That's very essential for me, even as Carmela mentioned earlier. The conversation is basically brings connectiveness, right? And they go hand in hand. That conversation, connecting one on one, and connecting sometime if we can in person. Sometimes because of our schedules, we may not be able to connect in person, but making that phone call, seeing how someone's doing, checking in, those are all ways that we can keep that human connection and provide the human connection that provides fulfillment for each and every one of us, right? And so we can make these initiatives. Again, I've seen someone said empathy. This imposes empathy and this imposes openness as well. So we're being empathetic, we're being open, we're being vulnerable, we're coming out of our place of being comfortable. It gives an opportunity to have just great, rich conversations, and just being able to even in our place of connection, also being able to listen. right? Being able to listen, being able to ask questions, all of this is a part of human connection. We can't listen or ask questions if we're not connecting with one another. So that's something I want to share. You guys can go ahead and chime in on that and why human connection is important. Why is it important to you? What areas and how? And this is my question that I want to pose to you. What areas and how are you going to work on your human connection? Is it going to be calling people, being more intentional about connecting with people and making time? Even as far as making that phone call, sending, that message or that email, being more personable. Just I want you to journal about that. How are you going to embrace or improve with human connection? All right, Dr. Paul Brown, being a part of community, one can be stimulated and also stimulate others. Thank you so much, Dr. Paul. And this is our book of the week. This is the author. This is Dr. Paul Brown, who has chimed in, who is our featured book of the week. Just do what God says, and he has chimed in. Thank you so much, Dr. Paul, for your comment. All right, Karen said building rapport and feeling safe with one another. That's very good. And again, that's that place of vulnerability, of coming out of my comfort zone to embrace who I am in humanity, of being connected one with another. And I also want to share a renewal center practice as well with all of you is something that I know, I've seen the challenges with this and challenges myself is being present. Being present, right? Being present means, if we're having dinner or we're going out or whatever, dinners or just where the phone is put up or put up, we're being present in the present moment of who we're in front of. So we want to make sure, even when we're in the presence of others, that we're being present with them, giving uninvited attention, right? And so we have to be conscious and of how we're engaging with one another. Maybe even mentally, not just physically disconnecting from a phone or a technical device, but actually also mentally disconnecting from it, not just physically, but mentally from our phones and some of our interactions, or even some things that may try to distract us when we're in the process of human connection and connecting with one another. So we want to be mindful that we're present in the moment that we're spending time with others, that we're present in the moment of either when we're on a conversation with one another. Share with me and engage with me on how do you feel? And I'll just put this way, and I pose this question to all of you. How do you feel when you know that someone has your undivided attention, that they're paying attention, they're listening? How does it make one feel in the human connection experience that we are conversating and I'm not picking up the phone and I'm not looking at the phone or looking, at different places, or mentally not there. I'm just physically there. And so, just share with me what that means to you as far as being present in the moment and being mindful in the moment. And so, I'll tell you this. There's nothing that for me irritates me is when you're having a conversation with a friend and sometimes you find out that they're doing something else. They may be on the phone and you're saying something that's really important, or they have to repeat because really not just even paying attention or listening. And so this is very important, that we make this and be intentional about being able to put those phones away, right? And so I see a comment come in. Oh, what an honor, Dr. Brown. All right. Thank you so much for shout out to Dr. Paul Brown, who is our book of the week. All right. And Tina says, I feel respected. Absolutely, Tina. I agree with you 100%. I feel respected, right? I feel that what I'm saying matters, right? And everyone wants to feel that they matter. All right. Everybody wants to know that they matter as well. And so, also with that, it's being seen. You also see others. Sometimes, even in the world where it's kind of, it's like this. I've heard people say, kids, teenagers, the selfie. I don't know if I'm saying it right, the selfie world, or a desire, for just personal, your own self, just becoming about you, and in your priorities. And sometimes it's genuinely being interested in other people. All right, genuinely being interested in who they are, being present in that moment. And so that's important for human connection. And I want you guys to go ahead and share in the comments, how is human connection, as Tina said, and I concur with her, you feel respected. Carmela says it honors others. Absolutely. It honors others. Thank you so much for sharing that. It also shows that you care. It shows that you care, right? So building relationships and being connections, it shows that you care, and you come across as caring. You're paying attention. You're actively listening, to what's being said, what's going on. You're active in the activity that you may be taking a part in. All right. And see, once you've heard the heart, you hear the heart of the individual. You hear the heart of what's going on, and that's a caring, that's caring, and it helps to build and motivate positivity in the relationships, and continues to foster that human connection. And so then sometimes, again, it's a place of vulnerability, but also to be vulnerable, we have to be in a place where we can trust that we won't feel judged, that we can go and release ourselves. And this is the point of human connection as well. And so go ahead and chime in. All right. If you have any comments, go ahead and chime in with your comments about, we're sharing right now about some principles on why human connection is important. Why is it important to you? And how can we improve with our human connection as well? And so, you know what? I want to say something about human connection. And I saw the word empathy earlier, I think from Adrian. Empathy. It's compassion. Even in our human connections, we have to watch our communication, right? Communicating compassionately, showing compassion, showing empathy, right? And so even if I may not agree, even if there may be something going on, being compassionate, being empathetic to one, as we are sharing a human experience, we're connecting with one another. And so also, and I hope that you're writing this down and you're getting this down, because right now we're talking about human connection. We're talking about practices that we can cultivate to continue to foster a lifestyle where we're staying connected, as being. And why is it important? Why is it important to lay that phone down? Why is it important to give someone my undivided attention? Am I intentional about giving my undivided attention to others? All right, I see comment that has come in. And Karen says, shows that the person or people are important. Thank you for sharing that, Karen. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to know that they matter. That's why human connection is important. Because with human connection, we're able to we see one another. We're able to engage and connect with one another. And that's why it's important, and to be intentional about that. All right. Shalissa says, builds trust and value. Builds trust and value. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's very important. Trust and value are important in any human connection. There has to be trust that's initiated there, and being intentional about that as well. Tina says it's important because it's a natural, healthy, and initiative. To do the opposite goes against our original makeup. Thank you so much, Tina, for sharing that. You're absolutely right. Again, we are made for human connection. We are made to be a community. We are made to engage. That's how we're made up. That's how we're gathered up to connect one with another. And that's just awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tina. One thing I want to say also, something that's very important with human connection is being authentically you, being your authentic self, right? Being your authentic self, being able to say, this is who I am, this is what I'm showing up, to embrace who you are. When we are embracing who we are, we're comfortable with being vulnerable. When we embrace who we are, we're comfortable with being vulnerable, right? So when I'm not truly being myself, I cannot embrace being vulnerable. We have to be authentic and embrace our vulnerability so that we'll be true to ourselves and comfortable being vulnerable. This shows us cultivating, right, a relationship based on honesty, trust, and respect. This is very important that authenticity remains in human connection, because in being authentic in human connection, we can understand that when I'm true to myself, I'm true to others, and I'm comfortable being vulnerable. I'm comfortable showing all parts of who I am. I cultivate and I sustain relationships that are built and based upon trust and respect. And someone just said that, trust and respect. In order to have trust and respect, we have to be authentic with one another, right? And we have to also look for opportunities to build genuine connections with those who are around us. That is a part of authenticity. That is the special part of how we're made up and how we're created. Like, I'm authentically me. You're authentically you. Carmela is authentically who she is. And because we are authentically who we are true to ourselves, and then we can be true to others. And so we look for opportunities to build genuine connections with those who are around us. Genuine, meaning authentic and real. I see a comment coming in here. People need people. Thank you so much for sharing that. Keisha says genuine connections. Love this. Thank you so much, Keisha. Very important. Very important. And that's a renewal center practice that we want you to take with you. Building genuine connections, right? That's God. We're going to continue to foster a lifestyle of being having human connection. Human connection is a lifestyle. We do have our times where we need to be alone. For me, that's important. I have to have my alone time. I get my energy from being alone because of how I am. But I know and realize how important relationships are, how important to have that engagement and the human contact with others. And so I just want to share that with all of you as we embrace that today. So take that note down. Take that note down. Look for opportunities to build genuine connections with those who are around you and being authentically you. I want to leave you with that, being your beautiful, all of you beautiful, authentic self. You know, you don't have to have the pressure to be who you think you're supposed to be, but you can embrace who you are when you're true to yourself, right? That's authenticity, right? Then we become what? Comfortable. We be able to be vulnerable to one another. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring back on Carmela on and have her chime in with her comments and her feedback on today's subject of human connection. So I'll go ahead and allow you to chime in with your feedback, Carmela. I can't hear you. Let's see.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't want any background noises
Okay.
interrupting you, but great tea time practice today. Great tea time principles today. I'm really excited just to, I was sitting there thinking about the quote that you put up.
Yes.
When I thought about that quote, I thought about a puzzle, and that each piece, you have to have a whole, you have to have different pieces. And, just those different pieces are interconnected to make one big picture. And I love that. I love that so much. I'm really grateful for all the different principles that we talked about today, and our Tea Time community chiming in about the importance of engagement, the importance of feedback, some things that you said, the human connection is so important. It improves our lives. It improves what we do. We
Yes.
cannot do without others around us.
That's right.
We just can't,
Yeah.
and just being in that supportiveness, enjoying fostering synergy. I was just writing down everything about the human connection that you mentioned, caring for others, strengthening mental fortitude. I think someone mentioned that. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about all of the different things that we talked about today, because like you said, coming out of the pandemic, coming out of
Mhm.
being in places that We didn't have access to everyone. So now we're out and about. So why not strengthen it more? Why not foster it more? And this is a great way to start. This is a great way. This is great timing.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I mean,
I need you. Absolutely. We need each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. You are welcome. Thank you so much,
yeah.
Keisha, for tuning in. She's one of our faithful tea timers
Mhm.
and a part of our tea time community. Thank you to all of you. We have our tea time community. This is a way that we foster human connection through tea time. This is
Yeah.
the way that we foster by sharing renewal center practices and embracing one another and who we are authentic, being authentic. And so I'm going to go ahead and move forward and allow Carmela, we have some announcements here for tea time. And so we'll
Okay.
go ahead and get those announcements up. And we thank you all for tuning in. You guys can still chime in. Could you go ahead as she's giving the announcements? Tell us your feedback. What did you
Mhm.
get from it? What are your takeaways from this particular
Yeah.
human connection? What's your takeaways? And then I want a journal exercise is how are you going to foster or make sure that you continue a life of human connection, of
That's
life
good.
of being connected to others. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go ahead and we'll get our announcements on here.
Well, it's Giving Tuesday, everybody. Giving Tuesday here at the Renewal Center, and you can join us in supporting the Renewal Center as we bring more of our, I would say, all of our renewal practices. And not just that, the efforts and the different programmings that we have at the Renewal Center, you can help be a part of that by joining in with us on Giving Tuesday. And so there are different things that we do here at the Renewal Center, and the support always helps us along the way. So there's different ways that you can give, and we'll put that on the screen where you can go and find out more information on how you can give, because there's different
Yes.
ways to give. We have PayPal, and we have, let's see, PayPal, we have Venmo, we have
Venmo.
Cash App. We have, you can mail a check to us.
Yes.
We'll get that information up in a minute, and if it doesn't flash on the screen, you can definitely go to our social media platforms, download our mobile app. There's a way that you can download our mobile app to find out even more information. There it is on the screen at the bottom.
Mhm.
PayPal, the Renewal Centers 2020 at gmail.com. You can give to the Renewal Center at www.therenewalcenters.com/give. You got Cash App option there for Renewal Center. You can even text to give. There it is right there. And like I said, download the mobile app. You need the mobile app because all the information is on the mobile app too. It'll direct you to everything that we do here at the Renewal Center. And if you'd like to mail a check and support in that way, you can mail it in here to the Renewal Center at P.O. Box 1381 Concord, North Carolina 28026. So we welcome your giving, and we're thankful for Giving Tuesday, aren't we? We're
Yes.
so thankful for that, and we thank you for all of your support at the Renewal Center. So also, as we're moving along with our announcements, this is our fourth annual Carolina Prophetic Gathering. And we know that some of you may have not seen this slide or this announcement. And so we invite you to come register. This is an awesome, powerful prophetic gathering. This is the fourth year in running. It's going to be held here in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Harvest Center. We see all of the different speakers here. You just heard from those of you that are new to Tea Time. You just heard from Hope T. Melton. She's going to be a speaker here. I'll be speaking, our executive director is speaking, and several other speakers are preparing for our prophetic gathering, which is going to be April the 27th through the 29th. Please go to our pages so that you can click the Eventbrite, find out how to register, save your seat. We need you in the seats. Come and be blessed. And so we're excited about our Carolina Prophetic Gathering, in sync with Christ. That's
All
our motto,
right.
our theme for this year.
Right. And I think we have some comments that has come in as well. Says Patrick saying notice others and intentionally engage them.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah.
good. Thank you so much for sharing
Yeah.
that. That's the intentionality of being present. Being present. Hey,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing. Keisha says, by valuing people and my relationships, This is how I will foster human connections. Hashtag people are your wealth. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for that. I was trying to get it. I don't have my glasses
Absolutely.
on. Thank you so much for sharing, Keisha, that hashtag and your comment, your feedback. Shalissa says, amazing session on today. Thank you. You are
Yes, it
so
was.
welcome. We thank you all for, being a part of this great tea time. And again, we invite you to give to our Giving Tuesday. Again, we're going to put that on the screen. There,
Yeah.
Giving Tuesday. This at the bottom. Here's the ways to give. We thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Hope that you guys were, enriched and that you took down our Renewal Center practices. It's always good, Carmela, to be with our Tea Time community.
Yes.
Always
Tea
pleasant to
time
be
community.
our community. Anytime our first time visitors, welcome to Tea Time. We hope that you'll be back next week to tune in to Tea Time as we engage. I think next week, I'm not sure if that's I don't think that's our last. Yes, that is our last
Wow.
Saturday. I mean, our last Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Sorry. So our Tuesday
Mhm.
is going to be at 7 p.m. Join us
Yes.
for tea time at 7 p.m. next Tuesday. It's our evening tea time for those of you who can join in. Thank you so much, Keisha. You have a great day. All right. And Patrick says, thank you for the renewal
Yes.
practices. Thank you all
Yes.
for coming on. Carmela, did you have any last comments?
I am just, going to take these practices today, just sharing it with everybody. Just take it and go with it. I mean, these are some great practices we can start now. We can start using
We
these
can.
practices now.
Wow, that's great. You said starting now, and that's great. That's what we want to do. We want to, start now with what we are doing. So we thank you for tuning in as we talked about human connection and some principles, practices that we share with all of you. It's been great to be here with all of you. I think we have another comment. Thank you for a great tea time session. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Monique. Thank all of you for tuning in, our wonderful tea time community. I tell you, it's always refreshing to be here, always refreshing to come on as well. All right. And so this has been a wonderful tea time. All right. And I see another comment coming in. Great renewal time today. Thank you so much, Dr. Paul. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Dr. Paul, for being our book of the week. His information, if you would like to purchase his book, we've placed it inside of the chat. You can go
Yes.
ahead and make sure to purchase his book, Dr. Paul book. I have my copy, so I
Mhm.
encourage you to and get your copy as well. We have another comment coming in. Such a rich tea time. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Tanya, for tuning in today. Thank you all for your engagement. This has truly been really engaging with all of you, and we will see you soon. Remember, next Tuesday at 7 p.m., our evening session, our fourth Tuesdays, our evening tea time. All right. So join us at 7 p.m. It's going to be phenomenal. We will see you all soon. Have a great afternoon. And remember, I am Renewal. Take care of each other.